Hello all, Robert Knowles here with Jeff Franklin for the
Oh,
History with R&R Live. How are you doing, Jeff?
greetings, everyone. I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Robert?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Hanging in there?
Trying to. Uh, Starting to see grass, which is always a good thing. Uh,
Starting to warm up.
Starting to. All right, so today's live stream isn't going to be too labor intensive. I want to let you guys know about a few things that are upcoming, a couple of new things. I want to draw your attention to something that it'll be kind of in the announcement. Also, a new Discord will be showing up within the next week, and I want to kind of go over that because that's going to be a very specific, a little bit different than normal Discords. So we're going to go through that, and then maybe I might even rant a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So
You hate
first,
ranting, don't you?
oh yeah, well, not really. I'm Canadian. We do it all the time. You should see us in mid-December. It's
I
cold.
thought you were the polite people.
Not in December when it's like December, January when it's minus 40. Oh no, 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 no. That friendly Canadian thing goes right out the window. So first of all,
I hear that you censored yourself right there.
yes, I did. Wrong channel for that. So basically, for those of you who may or not have been on my other channel, which was Rambling Canuck, you may have noticed that History with R&R and Rambling Canuck, the new store is open. So the new History with R&R mug is now available. This logo is the new logo, so my hat's a different color. There's a sun behind Doom. It's kind of a halo. And the original logo will always be on Doom Store because Paula is keeping that open. So the original logo will always be on Doom Store. It will never be on the new store. I've told Paula that she has that graphic completely, which is why I had Yitzy make the new one. The new one is basically the same as the old one. There's just a few alterations. Nothing too major, but there are differences. So that'll be the new one moving forward. Also, I want to draw everybody's attention to this one thing that we do have in the store. And the only reason I'm drawing your attention to it is because I am only keeping it around for a short period of time. And that is the Doom Memorial mug. And it is only going to be there for about 2 months. I'm going to let it sit for about 2 months, and then I'm going to pull it down. It's basically the memorial image that I had Yitzy make for the memorial stream, and it will have, and it just has Richard's name and his date of birth and the date he passed with the memorial graphic. So that'll be on the store for a very limited run, just because I feel that it only needs to be there for a limited run. It doesn't have to be there for a full run. Everything else, anything new will always be updated, of course, but that is going to be a very limited run. So that one's only going to run for about 2 months. I actually noticed that the StreamYard Stream Elements bot is actually running, which is amazing. I'm getting good at this. In the description, the Doom store is in the description. So is the new store. Also in the description is the link for the tip if you want to join the tip jar, which should be coming up in the chat sometime soon. I hope, if I did it right. But that's pretty much everything we have as far as the store is concerned. But I did want to make the announcement here. I have pretty much everything: shirt, mugs with History with R&R on it. And again, the main one I wanted to draw everybody's attention to was the memorial mug for Doom. I had talked to Paula before I went and made the store live. I wanted to make sure that she approved of me doing so. She did give me the okay to do so. So it will be there, and I did tell her that it would be a limited run, so it will be.
Speaking of Paula, have you spoken with her recently at all?
Yeah, not very much because her operation had some complications. She's been kind of having up and down, up and down. Been kind of keeping track on Facebook, but next week or so, I'm going to reach out and see how she's recuperating. For those of you who don't know, March 8th, Paula went in for an operation. Afterwards, she kind of had a couple of complications with it. As far as I know, she's doing fine. Just pain-wise is a little bit high, but other than that,
she did have to go back in for
yes.
a second procedure.
Yes, she did.
Last Thursday, and she came home last night.
Yes. Yeah, I had saw that, I think, this morning because I was not at my desk yesterday at all. So I didn't get caught up on. Thank you, Mary. She says Paula did put an update on the GoFundMe for Richard. So there's she's keeping that pretty up to date, which is always good. I know she's even talking about possibly maybe doing her own channel at some point. So if I hear that hits, I'll be sure to let everybody know as well.
Do we have a link to the GoFundMe down in the description?
No, but okay. I can get it.
Maybe I can get that.
All right, so while you're doing that, I'm going to go into the other thing I wanted to talk about. So within the next week or so, I'm going to have a brand new Discord for History with R&R. There we go. Mary got the GoFundMe link put in there. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
And then you did right after her. There you go. Productivity, and that's why I have mods. Yay! So the new Discord I'm going to be working on this week. I'll let everybody know. I'll tweet it out when it launches. But it's going to be very specific. The new Discord, as everybody knows or should know by now, I have my main Discord, which is under Rambling Canuck. However, I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a separate Discord for History with R&R. And the only focus for that Discord is going to be communication between you guys and me. So if you have an idea that you'd like to see brought to life in a radio show, that'll be the place where it will go. If you have if you have a request for something you'd like us to cover in a video, that would be the place it would go. If you want something done on a live stream, that would be a place it would go. It is going to be a way where I can manage everything in one spot. So it's not going to be your average Discord where, it's for sharing of this and, promoting channels. And it's just going to be, for now, a way that I'll be able to communicate with everybody and get ideas and have a little bit more communication. So if I don't see a comment in the live stream, I will be able to see it in the Discord, and I can go over it and go, okay, that's a good idea. Or if somebody had an idea for wanting to come on a live stream, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in one spot, and I know where to get it. And I'm not checking Twitter. I'm not checking Rambling Canuck for the odd message for History with R&R. It's all in one spot. So hopefully by the end of the week, by Friday's video probably, I should have the new Discord up and running. I just think it'd be a lot easier to be able to communicate with the audience, so that I'm putting out material that, one, I enjoy, which is history, and two, that people actually want to see, which is kind of the point.
We want to interact with you. We want your participation. We want to hear what you want on the channel. So that's why we're setting this up. So you have a voice and you can tell us what you would want to see.
And also, just to kind of give you an idea of the programming that I have in mind, so every second Friday will be a video like last Friday's, where I find something that's on my mind, history related, and I talk about it. Be about a 5-6 minute video, nothing major. Just something that's on my mind, or something I've seen, or something relative towards the history topic. However, it's not going to be anything heavy. It's just going to be a light little video every second Friday. On the corresponding Friday, when we're not doing the light video, Jeff and I will be doing in-depth looks at points in history. Now, I originally was not going to do long diatribes, but something that I feel doesn't get talked about a lot is, well, the actual setup to World War II in the East, well, the Pacific, to be more specific. Ha ha. A lot of times, the Pacific War starts at Pearl Harbor, which, contrary to popular belief, that war had been going on for about 4 years before that, give or take. It was mainly Japan versus China, but the other nations had their own little role to play, and there was the whole League of Nations complete breakdown and failure, and it doesn't get talked about a lot. People like to use Pearl Harbor as the jumping off point for the Pacific War. So I thought it would be kind of interesting and different to give a little bit of a take where we go from Japan and China starting their war to ending at the Bataan Death March, which is not where that story usually starts and not where that story usually ends. So I thought it would be very, very interesting way to look at things, because that part of the war isn't analyzed to death, whereas Midway and Pearl Harbor are.
Well, John Marcos says in the chat that thinking that the Pacific War started at Pearl Harbor is a very American-centric thinking. And he's right. He's very right about that.
At the end of the day, it's the way that, and most channels will start there because they look at it, well, nobody cares about here. The views aren't that big, or I get more views if I talk about World War II. I've actually seen history channels actually state that they don't stray away from World War II because they get more views if they talk about World War II than if they talk about World War I. That's not going to happen on this channel. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, not many people know about that, so we're not going to get any views, so I'm not covering it. If it's something that I find interesting, it's going to be covered. Whether it gets 60 views or 13. It's just kind of my thinking on it. If it's something that I think is interesting, somebody's going to find it interesting. So That's kind of the plan going forward for the alternative Friday videos. Um, yeah, so that's going to be the main scheme for those for the next month or so.
Well, a lot of history we don't hear about, but it can be very interesting and thought provoking. And that's the type of things that we want to do. We want to stretch everyone's minds. Want you to learn more about history, to have a broader scope of what happened and why it happened. So, we're just not going to cover just the big things that have happened in history. A lot of little things are as equally important, sometimes more important than the big things that you hear about.
Well, not only that, but a lot of the small things are what led to the big things.
Exactly.
The other thing too that you have to think about for a second is the fact that one thing that annoys the ever-loving daylights out of me, and I was talking to Jeff about this earlier when we were talking about what we would be doing today. So this is where I go into my little rant mode. One thing I will not be doing on this channel is what a lot of history channels are doing now, which is, how can I put this? Outright saying that revisionist history is a good thing. I don't believe that revisionist history is a good thing, and I think it's a load of BS. There are history scholars right now that will tell you everything you learned, my generation, generations before mine, is all wrong. Everything we thought we knew about this is wrong. And because they opened up an envelope that had a document that was written that nobody saw until now, it changes everything.
The question becomes, is it authentic?
Yes. Because it was top secret, it must be true. Pardon me. But yeah, so that won't happen here. Because, number one, I will never tell you that Stalin was a hard worker. He worked, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he was just fatigued, and that's why he went into hiding for 3 days in 42. There are channels that will tell you that, and that makes me sad. And these are normally channels that sit there with a whole bunch of history books sitting behind them and go, well, I have a history doctorate and books, so I'm right, you're wrong. And I say, bite me. They've also, there's an actual argument now that I don't know how many people studied the build up to World War II with great vigorance, but there is a movement within the revisionist history movements now that are now changing for better terms, the narrative from when I was in school. The purge of Russian generals and high-ranking military officers was a detriment to the Russian military, which is why they got stomped in 42, is now being rewritten to this was a good thing. This benefited the Russian military. So to put that into perspective, what they're saying is Stalin either executing or sending high-ranking military officials to the Gulag was a good thing because it opened the way for younger, more with it commanders to take their place. This is being taught in schools now. Not even kidding. The purge was a good thing. What they don't tell you is that the purge made it so that Germany was the first one with jet-powered airplanes. The Russians were on their way to having their own jet fighter until Stalin put all of the researchers in a gulag. But that definitely helped the Russian military. Maybe. I made the joke with Jeff earlier that Stalin would have paid great money to have this kind of propaganda wing when he was in power because, wow, they're doing a real good job of it.
Yep, they would have had security guards for them.
Oh yeah, their own suite in the Kremlin.
Yeah. Their own maids, their own butlers, their own secretaries. They've been living high on the hog.
Yeah, so I may every once in a while, kind of maybe on my short 6-minute videos or whatever, bring to light some of these modern stupidities, and that's what I call them, modern stupidities, because it's changing things so that, like, some of them don't even make any sense. It just doesn't. It really doesn't make any damn sense why they would even bother changing it. Like, it's not for any... I mean, I don't understand why you'd want to make Stalin out to be a good guy. I mean, in grand scheme of things, the modern thinking is a certain leader from Germany was the worst person on the planet. Unfortunately, the crown for that at that time period goes to Stalin. The only problem is he was our ally, and we really couldn't say that at the time.
And you really still don't hear it, and it's being changed, as you were saying.
Yeah, just starving a whole bunch of farmers because he said so. Oops. So those are some of the things I'd like to do with the channel. I'd like to be able to explore some of the, here's the modern take, here's what I grew up on, and you make the decision. Who's right? Me or them? Because some of the revisionist history just either A, makes me laugh, B, makes me go, huh? And C, makes me want to make sure that every drug company is not allowed to sell drugs in the greater US or UK. Because I think somebody's getting overdosed, or they're getting the good stuff and not sharing, and it's really, really rude. So that's my thoughts on those kind of, where I kind of want to go with the channel. I'm also happy that people liked my video last Friday. Judging by the views, it did pretty well.
It did really well.
And I will do that in the future. If I find a good documentary series, I'll let you know about it. Because that one that I pointed out last Friday, Hell in the Pacific, was really, really good. It was very well done. It's 4 hours long if you watch all 4 parts at once, like I did. But it's really like a good book. Once you start it, you don't want to stop. It's really, really good because, as I said in the video, you get a chance to see it from both sides. Because not only do they have American vets from the Pacific and British vets from the Pacific, but they also have Japanese vets from the Pacific, which is the rarity. And what's even more rare is they're allowed to be candid. They are very, 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 very blunt. They're not like on the Japanese side. They're not. Well, we were wrong. We were absolutely wrong. We were stupid. Or blah 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 blah. And that's what you hear 90% of the time. They tell you why they did things from their perspective. Whether they're right or wrong is irrelevant. This is why this was their mindset. This is what they were taught. Deal with it. There's
history is usually written by the victors.
Yeah. There is
rarely get both sides, and these documentaries, they give you both sides.
Yeah. And this one, just like, for instance, there's and I'm going to paraphrase because I can't give an exact quote, but there's an American veteran who was talking about things that they did in World War II in the Pacific, and he says, well, modern eyes would look back on it and say it was inhumane and it was wrong. We shouldn't have done it. And his answer to that was, I was there, you weren't. We didn't have time to mess around. We saw a cave, we threw a grenade. We didn't know if there was kids, women, or children in there. We threw the grenade. We didn't have time to mess around. I was there, you weren't. That was his exact quote, pretty well, in that documentary. And you don't hear that very often. A lot of it is sugar-coated. It's one side was holier than thou. And it's very... it's a very well balanced, very well done, Pacific centric documentary for World War II. Welcome, Bird. So I didn't do this at the beginning, but I'm going to do this now because there was just a couple things I wanted to get off my head while they were still there. So I'm just going to run through the chat here quickly and say hi to everybody. Mountains of Elysium dropped by. He couldn't stay for this stream, but he dropped by, gave a like. Thanks, Mountains. Purple Valkyrie, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Mary's Game Room. Mark Namefully Tired. Scanning. Thomas Potts, welcome, sir. How are you doing? Eastern Bookholder, how are you doing? Not Ryan Johnson. Always good to see you. John DeMarco, always good to see you, sir. Carlo, welcome. And I think I got everybody. All right.
Of course, Bird just showed up.
Well, yeah, I started with Bird. I did the opposite. I went from Bird all the way up.
You have to start and finish with Bird.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. So as I said, the Doom mug will be in the store for the Doom mug will be in the store for about 2 months, and then it'll come down. And Mark the Infiltrator says, "Stop blowing up Jeff," but that's half the fun of the radio show. He always survives, though.
One of these times, I feel I'm not going to.
Now. It's kind of determined by myself and the old writing staff that you would always survive. Don't worry about it.
Well, I might upset the writing staff at some point unknowingly, and you just blow me up, and that'll be the end of me.
Well, we have blown you up. We blew you up in the first one.
True. But I'll stay dead. John says that I blow up so well.
Yeah. And, it's not like we had Bird of Prey 5 come in and send Addy Trekker to his death or anything. We didn't do that. No, we'd never do a thing like that.
Carlo, I get paid for this? He says that he hopes I get hazard pay. I didn't know I got paid for this at all.
Well, yeah.
Am I supposed to get paid?
Well, yeah. Didn't you get that crop dusting of snow I sent down? That was full payment.
Yeah, 10 inches of it, I
Jeez.
guess. Okay.
I think that was an overpayment by the sounds of your guys is complaining about it.
Oh, we're just not set up for that kind of thing down here.
Yeah, it was only a couple of feet. You'll be fine. What still makes me laugh about the
Wow.
original radio show was you and Mr. CCTV were in that same scene when the bomb went off. And the only person that anybody mentioned in the comment section was that we killed Jeff. Nobody gave a sweet diddly. We kind of blown up to Mr. CCTV.
I'm sorry, CCTV. I cared about you.
Everybody else just gave a flying hoot if we killed Jeff or not. So that was rather funny. Also, we have a birthday in the castings. A person who's done a lot for this channel and a person who has done a lot for the radio shows. Chris Knight, happy birthday. Or so says the all-knowing Facebook.
Happy
So,
birthday, Chris.
I hope you have a good one, my friend. And I'll hopefully have a new script to you by Wednesday. Yay! I get to write some more stuff.
Oh, but you so enjoy it.
Actually, I do, but
So
I just got to think of where to put, what wonderful location to put you in this time.
Oh, I'm waiting eagerly for that.
Maybe we'll scare Jeff and we'll have him cover Hiroshima.
No. And there was a joke about that on Discord recently.
Or Nagasaki or Jeff live from Dresden. That might not be a good idea. They firebombed that place.
Well, Eastland has an explanation why everybody was concerned about me. I've got great looking hair and a nice smile, and people are there. Let's see, people are if you are repeatedly killing him. So there you go.
All right. And of course, Mary is offering Mark up as a sacrifice. So we should have Mark do the live from Hiroshima.
Are you up for that, Mark?
Yeah.
I'll give
Temporary
you hazard.
correspondent.
I'll give you hazard pay.
Yeah, internship at History with R&R could be a really bad idea. No, we need you to go check out this bombing raid on Hiroshima.
They put you on Omaha Beach, Nagasaki, or Hiroshima. Run, Jeff, run. I'll just hop in the TARDIS and...
Yeah, there you go. There you go. See, Jeff never dies. People around Jeff do.
I have a personal force field.
But with that, folks, I'm going to end today's live stream. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update and let you know what was going on and what to look forward to. Hopefully the new Discord will be up by Friday so that I can start kind of interacting with you guys off screen and kind of bring some of the new ideas or new ways to blow up Jeff, because I'm sure I'm going to get a few.
I think you have too much fun with that, actually.
Yeah, it was Doom's favorite part about writing a script.
Well, truth be told, it's my favorite part too.
And truth be told, I think half the time Doom wrote your final line before he wrote the script.
Oh, I'm sure he
did. But with that said, folks, as Richard would always say, thank you and good night.